Welcome to the Mystical Lady Productions YouTube channel, and thanks so much for watching. In this video, we're going to convert this bedroom from this into this. This room does feed a direct cable into it and has 4 freed up corners with no interference of doors or windows, entrances or exits. We have our own bathroom. It's a 12 by 13, so it's not as rectangular as I'd like it to be, but it is the best room for doing this in the house. We're going to start by putting the base bins into all 4 corners. Got a little space up there, and I'm going to put my foam corner pieces to fill in that gap. There you go. Base traps in all 4 corners to trap the base. I like everything to be symmetrical, so I get a measurement here, which is 12 feet 6 inches. We're going to find the center and we're going to mark it so everything's in symmetric with each other. 6 foot 3 inches is right there, so we're going to make that marking right on the wall there. That's the center. I'm going to use my old purple drapes to darken and cover this area here. Alright, now I'll go ahead and get the desk all set up. Alright, and then I've got my Focusrite. This is for 8 channels. And then I've got this hooked up to one of the outputs in the front, so that I can use up to 4 headsets of output. And I've been using the DT770 Pros, 80 ohms. And then I add the carpet. Make sure it's nice and centered. Alright, now the next thing is going to be my speaker placement. I do have my stand set in place. Again, equal distance from the center. Okay, this one here and this one here. These stands do have the nice cushion for placing the speaker to absorb some of the shock and the bass, so it doesn't vibrate through your floor. These are the JBL 3 MK2s. Alright, so I got both speakers set, and they're facing me so they're equal distance to my hearing position. What we've done in essence is created a perfect triangle. Now with the Focusrite, I'm just going to use channels 1 and 2 as my outputs. I'll have the left speaker going out channel 1 and the right speaker going out channel 2. Okay, now that the speakers are in place, now we need to be concerned with reflection points in the room for the speakers, and that's going to determine where we place our acoustic panels. For example, the left speaker, the reflection point is going to be totally opposite of where I'm sitting, which is gonna encompass a little bit of the wall and the door. Similarly with the right speaker, my reflective point is gonna be somewhere between that lamp and that bass bin. Okay, now I am standing against the wall directly where the speaker is pointing. I'm standing right at the reflective point, so I'm gonna put a mark on my wall. X marks the spot. I just ordered these on Amazon recently. They're 24 by 12. I got quite a few of these in black. Now these are 2 of 6 panels that I've already had. They are 48 by 12 inch. I've got these nice little double-sided tape, square sticky thingies. It's going to do the job just fine. Now with the acoustic panels, they're not foam, okay? I had made the mistake early on, like a lot of us do. Foam is great for deadening the sound and taking the reverberation out of a room, but when you're mixing and mastering, it also has a tendency to take the highs away from the mix and not hearing accurately of the highs that are happening. So I would often go to my car and be like, wow, where are all those high sibilances coming from? I didn't hear them when I was in the studio. So I've corrected that. I will use some foam for decorative purposes, but not so much for the mixing purposes. So let's go ahead and hang up these panels. Okay, so when it's all said and done, and I did use a little foam, again, just for kind of making it interesting, a little decorative, and totally symmetric. All right, this point's my spot for that speaker, and vice versa. And oh, by the way, we do have a door that does open nicely. Hey! Okay, so now I've completed putting up my soundproofing. And everything is nice and symmetrical. All right, cool. Now the next thing I want to do is get my lighting set up, at least part of it set up. Make sure the wiring is nice and neatly tucked away and everything's on one switch so that when I come in and turn on the lights in the room, everything will be nice and pretty. I want to do this before I start laying out the rest of my equipment and taking up floor space, kind of cluttering and getting in my own way. So let's see how we do this. All right, so I got 2 crates of goodies here. Lighting, wiring, got a couple big lights there. I got 4 of these types of lamps. Let's make sense of this, man. All right, so I got everything going into one switch here. Not everything is plugged into one switch. We've got these lamps here. One's for the top of my speakers. This lamp over here. I got one line going behind the computer and down along the floor. And from this lamp, I've got another one going along this wall, which is running to this corner lamp over here. Now these 2 lamps on the floor are all wired into the same, but they're going to be for a desk, for a workstation that I'm going to have sitting right here, which we'll cover a little later on. Again, wires going all to this side as well. All right, so all these lights are on one switch. Power this out. Voila. All right, this is going to be one of my workstations here. This is where my sequencer and drum machine and some other items are going to go. And then my keyboard setup is going to go right there next to it. I do want to make sure my keyboards are close to my sequencer, and I'll show you what that's all about in a little later. All right, so we got some of my workstation all happening here. Okay. This is my MIDI station area. This is where I'll be doing most of my sequencing. I do use an Alesis SR16 drum composer, and then I'll dump those patterns onto my cash register here. The old MC300 microcomposer. And I'll also be using my MIDI keyboard. My Casio up here is just for me to do some rehearsing and working on new tunes and stuff. I don't use it actually for recording, but this Alesis here will trigger where all my sounds are coming from except my guitars and vocals. Okay, and that's mine Roland Integra. So all my drum work and horn sections, piano, strings, organs, synthesizers, everything is being sequenced, dumped onto, yes, a floppy disk, and saved and backed up. And then when I record, I'll be running from there into my recording area over here. And I like to keep everything nice and neat. I've got a nice black cloth draped behind, so you don't see all the wires and spaghetti hanging out down there. And everything that's plugged in here, the 2 keyboards and all the things for my MIDI equipment, it's plugged into one separate unit here. It's not linked up with the lighting, okay? And then I like to tie all my loose ends so I don't have a bunch of loose cords hanging. I'll just tie them. I gotta come back and cut these with some scissors. Make it nice and neat so it's not all spaghetti. So I still have yet to finish this area in here, lay out the guitars as well, and it won't be long, be able to get to work. So I'll utilize this spot down here for the tissues and a little waste basket. I do have a printer set up here alongside, and that's where my modem is. Got a little shredder there. Maybe take a little walk around what we've got going on so far, right? Got the mixer and all my guitars. Got the amp in. Got a space for the microphone. That could be moved anywhere in the room, okay? We'll be going through the mixer. You could either go through the mixer, of course, or go right into the Focusrite, depending on how you like to do your vocals. I got a nice spot for my 12-string Ibanez and also my Ibanez 4-string bass. All right. I do have another separate video series. It's called the Reproducing Caden Cashmere's The Sweetest Goodbye. And in that video series, I think it's part 2, I go into a lot more detail of how I actually use the Alesis drum machine and the MC300 for sequencing when I get started with the drum tracks on any of my productions that I do. Moving along here to my nice keyboard setup here. Of course, I got the Alesis Q88. I like all the octaves of the keyboard to be able to play. I got my little R2-D2 unit down here. Got my Kramer. This has been my baby since about 1988 or so. And I got my Fender Strat here. All right. Thanks so much for watching the video all the way to the end. Really appreciate it. I'm Stevie O. I also go by Stevie O Rocks. My full name's Stephen Owens, and I am here with Mystical Lady Productions in Sierra Vista, Arizona. If you're interested in doing some tracks, come on down. We've got some equipment, acoustic guitars, electric guitars, or if you're just looking for somebody to lay some tracks down for you, I do play lead guitar, bass, keyboards, and do vocals as well. You can check out all my works either at mysticallady.com or on my Reverb Nation channel, Mystical Lady Productions also. And some of my other work, you could Google Mystical Lady Productions or Google Stevie O Rocks. There's a lot of information there and easy ways to get in touch with me there. If you happen to be a songwriter, artist, acoustic player, singer, songwriter, and you don't have a band and you would love to get your music into full production, drums, bass, everything. That's my specialty. In fact, I have an 11-part series of video called Reproducing Caden Cashmere's The Sweetest Goodbye, where I took one vocal track and did all the rest of the instrumentation and some backing vocals on that. It shows the entire process. You could also check out that mix on my platforms as well. If you love this content, be sure to subscribe, like it, ring the bell, all that neat stuff. Really appreciate you. Peace.